What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Today, the NBA has given us something that feels like it could change the entire landscape of the league, and somehow it still ties back to the Celtics, because if the hammer comes down, the ripple effect will reach every team. I'm talking about the investigation swirling around the Los Angeles Clippers, Steve Ballmer, and those shady connections with Kawhi Leonard's contract negotiations. On the surface, it might sound like a weird business story, but when you peel it back, this could be one of the most serious salary cap violations the league has seen in years, and Adam Silver has already called this type of maneuvering the cardinal sin of team management. So let me walk you through it. The reporting that broke came with thousands of pages of documents and testimony from people inside the failed investment company called Aspiration. The allegation is that when Kawhi Leonard signed with the Clippers, he didn't just take a normal contract. Instead, there was a wink-wink side deal where money flowed through this company to make sure he got more than the salary cap technically allowed. To put it bluntly, the claim is that Ballmer invested in Aspiration, then that company funneled a separate endorsement payment to Kawhi, and the whole arrangement blew up only because the business went bankrupt and fraud investigators started digging. Suddenly, the paper trail pointed back toward the Clippers. The NBA was quick to respond once the story hit the airwaves. By quick, I don't mean within the hour. It actually took them the better part of a full day to release a statement, which in itself tells you something. If this was nonsense, they'd have shot it down right away. Instead, the league admitted it had seen the reporting, acknowledged the seriousness of the claims, and announced that an investigation had officially started. The Clippers also released their own lengthy response, strongly denying that they or Ballmer ever tried to dodge the salary cap, saying the whole idea was absurd, pointing out that Ballmer was also a victim of Aspiration's collapse, just like other investors. They stressed that the team had no oversight of Kawhi's personal endorsement contract and reminded everyone that sponsorship deals between a franchise and a player aren't unusual. But here's the catch. In their earlier rebuttal, they said the reporting was provably false. Later, they dropped that phrase and replaced it with softer language about oversight. That's exactly the kind of shift that makes reporters perk up. Oversight is a dangerous word because it suggests maybe they weren't directly involved, but they also weren't paying attention to the details. And in the NBA's eyes, negligence can be just as damaging as intent when it comes to breaking the rules. Why does this matter to the rest of the league? Because if it's true, it means a billionaire owner found a loophole to buy a superstar outside the salary structure. And if that becomes acceptable, small market teams are doomed. The entire system of the NBA salary cap is designed to level the playing field. It's the only mechanism keeping teams like Memphis or Oklahoma City from being buried under the weight of coastal franchises with unlimited cash. If Ballmer can simply set up an outside deal and hand Kawhi millions more than the Clippers were allowed to pay, what's stopping the richest owners from doing it every single time? Without the cap, Boston could just load up Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis with never-ending contracts and never worry about roster balance. That's exactly why Adam Silver has always said cap circumvention is a punishable offense of the highest order. We've actually seen this type of scandal before. The Minnesota Timberwolves got caught in the Joe Smith case years ago. They lost 5 first-round draft picks, Smith's contract was voided, and he was forced to either sit out an entire season or sign elsewhere. That was devastating for Minnesota, and the dollar figures back then were much smaller than what we're talking about with Kawhi. Leonard was one of the most sought-after free agents in recent memory, coming off a championship run with Toronto. He was supposed to choose between staying with the Raptors or joining LeBron and the Lakers. Out of nowhere, the Clippers landed him. And if it turns out they did it by promising under-the-table cash through Aspiration, this could make the Joe Smith punishment look like a slap on the wrist. And let's not forget, this isn't the Clippers' first rodeo. Ballmer's organization has already faced multiple investigations. There was the situation with DeAndre Jordan receiving a massive check for what was supposedly a simple car dealership appearance. Then there was the initial probe back in 2019 when Kawhi first signed with the Clippers. This would mark the 3rd time the franchise has been examined for questionable practices. The pattern alone makes the NBA's case feel stronger, because at some point it stops looking like coincidence and starts looking like culture. Now, what are the possible consequences? For one, Kawhi Leonard could be ruled ineligible to continue with the Clippers. Imagine a scenario where the league says this contract never should have existed, and suddenly Kawhi is free to sign elsewhere, but without the leverage of a massive payday. What team would risk breaking the bank for him knowing the context? It could also mean the Clippers are stripped of multiple draft picks, pushing them into a wasteland for years. That's not an exaggeration. When Minnesota lost those 5 picks, it set the franchise back a decade. The Clippers could lose even more, given the scale of the alleged violation. The fallout wouldn't just hit Los Angeles. Once this investigation is open, you better believe other teams will come under the microscope. Owners everywhere are sweating right now, because if it turns out the Clippers aren't alone, the league is about to uncover a pattern of side deals that changes everything we thought we knew about free agency. Mark Cuban has already chimed in publicly, referencing Dirk Nowitzki's legendary team-friendly contracts. Dirk left something like $150 million on the table across his career. Was that truly sacrifice, or was there another incentive hidden somewhere? We may never know, but suddenly people are asking the question. Even more recently, look at Jalen Brunson's move to New York. The Mavericks could have offered more money, but he ended up in Madison Square Garden, where his father conveniently had a spot on the coaching staff. Was it just family ties, or was something else greasing the wheels? Pablo Torre even hinted during an interview that he might investigate that angle next. If this turns into a trend, we're not just talking about the Clippers anymore. We're talking about a league-wide issue where players and franchises find creative ways to dodge the salary cap. The sports world is currently abuzz with what may be the most shocking development in recent NBA history, as rumors circulate that the Boston Celtics have officially announced the acquisition of none other than LeBron James, the legendary forward long associated with the Los Angeles Lakers. If this story proves accurate, it represents a seismic shift in the balance of power across the league, as 2 of the NBA's most storied franchises have historically been bitter rivals. The whispers first began as subtle hints during trade talks, with sources close to the Celtics front office suggesting that the team was actively pursuing one of the most dominant players of this generation. Analysts are struggling to reconcile the historical rivalry with this rumored move, given that LeBron has spent nearly 2 decades embodying the Lakers' identity, culture, and brand. The NBA community, from fans to commentators, has erupted with speculation over the strategic motivations behind the move, questioning whether this is a last-ditch effort by Boston to reclaim championship glory or a more calculated decision designed to reshape the league's landscape entirely. Social media platforms are flooded with a mix of disbelief, excitement, and outrage, with viral posts analyzing potential lineups, chemistry with current Celtic stars, and the unprecedented marketing opportunities such a pairing would create for both the franchise and the league at large, signaling a potentially historic moment in professional basketball. The implications of LeBron James joining the Celtics extend far beyond mere player movement. They touch on the very heart of NBA rivalries, fan loyalty, and the economics of professional sports, prompting endless debate among journalists, pundits, and fans alike. While trades and free agent signings are commonplace in the modern era, the notion of LeBron, a player so indelibly linked to the Lakers' identity, donning the green and white of Boston, is almost surreal, triggering intense discussions about loyalty, legacy, and the evolution of professional basketball as a spectacle. Speculators are already dissecting the potential synergy between LeBron and Celtic stars, imagining scenarios where his veteran leadership complements emerging talents and revitalizes a franchise long searching for a championship window. Betting markets are reacting as well, with sportsbooks reportedly adjusting odds on the Celtics' chances of winning the NBA title dramatically, reflecting the perceived magnitude of this potential acquisition. Meanwhile, social media communities are divided, with some fans welcoming the unprecedented star power to Boston, while others express outrage at what they perceive as a betrayal of historical allegiances. The rumor also sparks dialogue about the Lakers' roster strategy, potential counter-trades, and how the front office might respond to the loss of one of the most influential figures in the league. Conversations across podcasts, sports networks, and fan forums now revolve around drafting strategies, cap management, and how this seismic move could redefine championship dynamics across both conferences. The speculation surrounding this rumored blockbuster trade has fueled an almost frenzied level of media coverage, with sports channels dedicating extensive airtime to debates, potential consequences, and insider leaks, creating a circus-like atmosphere that blurs the lines between reporting and rumor-mongering. Sources claiming knowledge of behind-the-scenes negotiations suggest that the Celtics management has been quietly orchestrating the move for months, engaging in discussions with agents, lawyers, and financial advisors to ensure that all contingencies are accounted for. This level of secrecy adds layers of intrigue to the story, prompting analysts to hypothesize about possible contract structures, salary cap implications, and trade exceptions that might facilitate such a monumental transaction. Fan reaction is equally intense, with Celtic supporters expressing euphoria at the prospect of finally landing a generational talent, while Lakers fans mourn the potential departure of a player whose career has defined a franchise for nearly 2 decades. The rumor also ignites conversations about the NBA's broader narrative arcs, with storylines exploring the intersections of ambition, competition, and the economics of star power. Merchandise speculation has already begun, with mock-ups of LeBron in a Celtics jersey circulating online, generating viral attention and fueling consumer anticipation. As the rumor permeates every corner of basketball discourse, it becomes increasingly difficult to distinguish between factual reporting and speculative hype, creating an atmosphere in which every tweet, post, or insider leak is dissected as though it might confirm or deny one of the most astonishing narratives in modern sports history. Adding LeBron James to the Celtics roster would have profound tactical and strategic consequences, prompting coaches, analysts, and former players to theorize about how his unique skill set could transform Boston's style of play, offensive schemes, and defensive priorities. Observers are speculating that his unparalleled court vision, leadership, and scoring ability could integrate seamlessly with the Celtics' young core, potentially elevating the team to unprecedented levels of dominance, while simultaneously reshaping the competitive calculus of the Eastern Conference. Critics, however, caution that integrating a player of such immense stature presents challenges, including balancing touches, managing egos, and aligning team dynamics to maximize cohesion. The potential synergy between LeBron and current Celtic stars has become a central talking point, with hypothetical lineups generating animated discussions on late-night sports shows, podcasts, and online forums. Meanwhile, rumors suggest that Celtics executives are leveraging LeBron's presence to attract other high-profile free agents, signaling an ambitious long-term vision designed to cement Boston as the league's most formidable contender. Fans are flooded with content ranging from highlight reels of past performances to projections of future statistical outputs, creating an almost obsessive culture of anticipation around what is already being called. And here's where fans get divided. Some say, I want my owner doing this. If it means landing a superstar, bend the rules. Who cares? That sounds great until the punishment comes down. Imagine being a Celtics fan and finding out Tatum's deal was tied to some shady sponsor. Suddenly, the league tells him he can't play in Boston anymore, and the team loses its next 5 first-rounders. No championship window survives that kind of blow. That's why this matters. It's not just about Ballmer or the Clippers. It's about protecting the competitive balance that keeps the NBA from turning into a billionaire free-for-all. And let's be real, the timing here is wild. It's early September, the quietest part of the off-season, and suddenly this bombshell drops. You could call it sensationalized, but the fact remains, the NBA and the Clippers both took a full day to respond. That's not what you do when a story is laughable. That's what you do when your lawyers are combing through documents trying to figure out the least damaging way to phrase a denial. Pablo Torre, the reporter behind the story, is not known for sloppy work. He spent 7 months digging into the NFL Players Association before, exposed corruption, and people lost jobs. That's the type of track record that tells you this Clippers situation is not smoke without fire. This is going to be one of those sagas that stretches into the season. Every week there will be new leaks, new angles, new teams mentioned, and until Adam Silver makes a decision, the speculation will only grow. Whether the punishment is light or devastating, the precedent set here will impact how every general manager and owner approaches free agency moving forward. And for fans, especially in cities like Boston, it's worth paying close attention. Because if the rules change, the Celtics' strategy for keeping their stars long-term might have to change too. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. A transformative, once-in-a-generation acquisition. Each rumor and leak fuels a growing sense of inevitability among fans and analysts alike, amplifying the sensation that the Celtics may be on the verge of executing a move that will resonate throughout the NBA for decades, redefining rivalries, narratives, and the very notion of team identity in professional basketball. Beyond the court, the potential transfer of LeBron James to the Celtics is generating ripple effects across media, advertising, and sponsorship landscapes, signaling a cultural and commercial revolution in addition to the athletic implications. Brands, already attuned to LeBron's marketing prowess, are reportedly reevaluating partnerships, endorsements, and promotional strategies to capitalize on the historic convergence of player and franchise power. Media outlets are meticulously tracking every conceivable angle of the rumor, from fan sentiment analysis to social media engagement metrics, reflecting the massive public appetite for insight into what could be the NBA's defining storyline of the decade. The rumor has even sparked cross-generational dialogue, with longtime fans reminiscing about Celtics-Lakers battles of the past, while younger audiences speculate on a super team scenario that transcends historical boundaries. Betting lines, merchandise sales projections, and sponsorship valuations are all being recalculated in response to the buzz, highlighting how the potential signing is not merely a sports story, but a multifaceted cultural phenomenon with global resonance. Meanwhile, debate persists over the implications for legacy and loyalty, with commentators questioning whether LeBron's move would enhance his already monumental career or tarnish his connection to Los Angeles. In every corner of the basketball world, from casual fans to veteran journalists, the rumor has achieved near-mythical status, dominating conversation, inspiring speculation, and igniting passions that suggest the NBA may be on the cusp of a story that will be remembered for generations, a narrative defined as much by spectacle and imagination as by athletic performance. Ultimately, the speculation about LeBron James joining the Boston Celtics represents more than a simple trade rumor. It is a cultural event that taps into collective imagination, reshapes narratives, and challenges traditional understandings of rivalry, loyalty, and team identity in professional basketball. Analysts continue to debate the feasibility, timing, and strategic implications of the rumored acquisition, weighing variables such as salary cap management, player chemistry, and historical significance, while fans oscillate between hope, disbelief, and outrage. The rumor has already triggered a cascade of media content, from mock interviews and hypothetical highlight reels to financial analysis and betting predictions, reflecting the extraordinary level of public engagement surrounding the story. Conversations are extending beyond basketball, touching on social dynamics, celebrity influence, and the economics of modern sports culture, as the possibility of LeBron in green and white transcends the realm of athletics to become a global talking point. Even as insiders caution that nothing is yet confirmed, the persistent chatter has created a climate of anticipation so intense that every minor detail, from a cryptic social media post to a reported meeting between executives, is scrutinized as potential evidence. Whether the move materializes or not, the rumor has already left an indelible mark on the NBA, transforming discussions, expectations, and fan experiences, and establishing a narrative that will be dissected, debated, and remembered as one of the most electrifying what-ifs in the history of professional basketball. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.